Welcome back to this week's edition of UC Sports. We're here to help take you through another exciting week in the world of UConn sports. I'm Kyle Laidlaw.
And I'm Jordan Rosenthal. This week we'll talk about the New England football rivalry, the start of the women's basketball practices, and Big East play in fall sports.
UConn football had their rivalry game against UMass in Amherst over the weekend. Unfortunately, they had to face yet another setback on the season, as interim head coach Lou Spanos, the tight ends coach and offensive coordinator, as well as 2 linemen were out due to COVID protocols, not to mention the absence of quarterback Tyler Pumachan, who is still dealing with a leg injury and is out indefinitely. It was an absolutely devastating blow to the Huskies, who were unable to take down the Minutemen, falling 27-13. They now sit at an overall record of 0-6 on the season. However, running back Nate Carter was a bright spot for UConn, as he carried the ball 20 times for 136 yards. He broke off 2 huge carries for 30-plus yards that helped set up 2 UConn scores. They still have a chance to turn their season around this Saturday at home versus Yale in their homecoming game.
The field hockey team collected 2 great wins this week, including a 1-0 win against Big East opponent Quinnipiac and a convincing 8-0 victory over BU. These 2 shutout wins bring the team's overall record to 7-7. This week they traveled to Villanova and number 8 ranked Maryland to try to bring their record above the 500 mark.
After last week's 1-1 tie against St. John's, the men's soccer team locked in a defensive battle against Big East opponent Villanova. Senior keeper Jamali Waite shined for the Huskies, racking up 5 saves in over 100 minutes of play. Unfortunately, a penalty kick late in overtime ensured a Villanova win, 1-0. The team now will face off against Marquette and Creighton to try and improve on their 4-4-1 record.
The women's soccer team went 1-1 this week. They played Marquette at home, where they were led by junior midfielder Jessica Mazzo, and the Huskies were able to prevent Marquette from finding the back of the net. Goals from 3 different Huskies were enough to outlast the Golden Eagles 3-0. Unfortunately, they were defeated by the DePaul Blue Demons 1-0 in Chicago. Freshman goalie Mary Kate Ward was named to the Big East Weekly Honor Roll for her 7 saves in her first career start. This week they play Creighton on Thursday and Villanova on Sunday, both at home.
UConn softball took down URI over the weekend. That brings their record to 8-0 as they finish their fall ball season.
UConn baseball held their first game of the fall ball season against Niagara this Friday. It was a strong showing from the team as they won convincingly, 17-3 in 12 innings. They continue their season this Saturday at 1 p.m. against URI at home.
The volleyball team wrapped up their 4-match road trip last week, beating Villanova but losing to Georgetown for a 2-2 split overall in the trip. They are now 4-2 in conference play and 12-6 overall. They look to improve those numbers this week as they return to Gamble to play Providence on Thursday and Creighton on Saturday.
The women's basketball team held their first official practice this week. Our own Bree Mon has the report. Let's take a look.
It's the most wonderful time of the year as today marks the first official practice for UConn women's basketball. Lots happened over the summer and intense improvement was made. Easy Fudd, #1 recruit, is hopeful for her first season in collegiate ball.
I don't really feel any pressure. I think I'm nervous just to perform well, but those are like intrinsic nerves, if that makes sense. But I don't really feel any pressure from anyone or anyone else. I want to do well.
She looks to many of the seniors for help thus far at UConn.
Her leadership is everything. And when we play, even if she's guarding you, like she's on the other team, she's still helping us. The freshmen call her our grandma, the sophomores call her their mom. Without her leadership, the team would definitely be a lot different.
Senior Kristen Williams has high hopes for the season and knows exactly what she needs to bring to the table this year.
They need me to be the player that I was during the tournament, and that is just doing anything that I can do for my team, whatever they need. I'm going to do it, whether that's defensively or offensively.
Paige comes back for her sophomore season, and Coach Gino talks about what she brings to the table.
She is a pass-first player. That's what makes her, I think, so valuable to a team. She hasn't changed. She hasn't changed one iota.
Although she had to take the summer off due to injuries, Coach Gino says she came back better than ever.
She's probably won more sprints and more challenges that Andrea Hootie has put him through than any other kid on the team. And a lot of people out there would think that she just, is this cocky kid who's just talented, who just, you roll the ball out and she's good. That kid works harder than anybody on the team.
There's even some unexpected players to step up, like freshman Caroline Ducharme, who teammates say is quite the asset.
Caroline, she's like deceivingly long, and she can get to the basket, she can shoot.
It's not loud. She doesn't have a loud game, but her quiet game is very efficient.
Yet all players did not participate today due to many injuries.
No, Dorka was fine in the last 2 weeks. She's had an issue with her quad. Mir's got some tendonitis in her knee. Aubrey's been dealing with a back issue. Aaliyah stepped on somebody's foot or turned an ankle.
It is still looming who will be on the playing roster this year as many fight to prove their spot.
They haven't had this many players that want to play, that want to prove to them that I'm as good as you are or that I can contribute as much as you can.
Gino even hinted about a close scrimmage happening in the next couple weeks. From the Worth Family Basketball Center, I'm Bree Mon, UCTV Sports.
In the pros, Diana Taurasi was electric for the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA semifinals, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter and sinking a three to give them the lead over Vegas. Her wife also delivered their second child at 4:24 a.m. later that night, so quite a day for Taurasi. She was later voted by the fans as the league's greatest of all time.
This week marks the return of First Night. Open only to UConn students, this will be the first basketball event in person since before the start of the pandemic. With the season about a month away, the teams look to showcase their talents and get ready for the start of a new season in front of fans.
The men's hockey team opened Hockey East play this weekend, taking on Boston University in a home-and-home set. The first game started off well for the Huskies as they took a 1-0 lead into the final 5 minutes of the game, but lost in heartbreaking fashion after surrendering 2 goals in 2 minutes, ultimately losing 2-1. The team would not let the loss drag them down for long, though, as the next day they went to Boston and crushed the Terriers 5-1. They head to Columbus this Friday to take on Ohio State in a 2-game set.
The women's hockey team continued their strong start to the season last week, sweeping RIT in their 2-game series, winning 4-3 and 6-2. They now take their 4-0 record into Hockey East play this week, traveling to Maine to take on the Black Bears on Friday.
There's interesting news coming out of the Big East basketball world, as a possible expansion is rumored for 2025. Names like Gonzaga, Kansas, and Dayton are being thrown around. They're just rumors for now, but it's worth keeping your eye on.
As you can tell, a lot happened in UConn sports this week. That means a lot of great plays. Let's check out this week's edition of Husky High Five.
That's right, guys. A ton of great plays this week. Let's jump right into it. At number 5, we start with a top prospect in Reggie Crawford from the UConn baseball team. Here, he logs a strikeout as the Huskies rolled in their fall ball exhibition. Now moving to number 4, UConn field hockey. It's Sophia Ugo who will collect the rebound here. She's not even looking at the net. Boom, fires one past the BU goalie. 8-0 win, a hat trick. At number 3, women's soccer, Jada Bedoya weaves through the defense, scores, UConn beats Marquette 3-0. Number 2, we go to Amherst for some football. Steven Krajewski drops back, finds Keelan Marion. Oh, look at that, juggling one-handed catch. UConn that would fall 27-13. And at number 1, UConn hockey, it's Vladislav Versov with a ridiculous goal, bringing XL to their feet. The Huskies would split the series with BU. That's all for this week. We'll see you for next week's edition of the Husky High Five.
And that wraps up this week's edition of UC Sports. Make sure to tune in next week to see how the Huskies fare in their upcoming matchups.
Make sure to subscribe to the UCTV YouTube, as well as follow us on Instagram and Twitter at UCTV Sports for game updates and news. For Jordan Rosenthal, I'm Kyle Laidlaw. Thanks for watching, and roll ski.